Okay.
All right, everybody, we're live right here, and I got a host with me. I'm so thankful to have him, Judge Green, out of Jack Gates class of 1955. Judge, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great.
Great. School here on the address is 1401 Palmer. And this is one of the first elementary schools they had over here in Third Ward. This was school here was before Blackshear, you know. And I say this to be on the correct side because Judge Green, are you with me?
Yes, I'm with you.
All right, as you can see, they're protected. But as we know, Judge, this is what's happening to our history. Right here, it's been sold off. That's right, this is black history. The Lucky Schoolhouse was one of the first black house, well, it was an elementary school back in the day. And we are doing this historical part of Third Ward. And as we can see, this is Lucky Elementary School. And you can see Mr. Charles W. Luckey. He was born in 1861 and he passed away in 1909. So this was they named this school after him way before Edward Blackshear. And a lot of these kids that went, when they left Lucky School, most of them kids, if they wanted their high school education, back in the day, they would have to go to Colored High. But in 1926, they built Jack Gates. And that's when most of these kids went to Jack Gates High School. And they met up with you, Judge Green. Judge Green, I know you finished Jack Gates in 1955, so evidently you went over to Jack Gates in 1949. Is that correct, Jack? And you
Correct.
okay? And some of these kids went to school with you. You heard them talk about Lucky School, so Lucky School is not something new to you. Is that right, Judge Green?
That is correct.
All righty. Right now, we're right up here, Judge, before, you was around here before they built Highway 75, which we call the Gulf Freeway and the Super Highway. Now, there was a lot of homes up and down here where this freeway is today, Judge?
Most of the friends of mine, they were relocated from that area. The entire family, the entire house, and everything were relocated.
To make
a number of them.
What, to make room for this Freeway 45?
Yes.
Okay, so blacks were staying all back up in here where this I-45 is today, out for Dowling.
Yes.
Oh, okay. That's good. Okay, then, Judge, we're going to go down Dowling Street and where the business section started that I knew of. And like I say, this is part of Midtown now. And this is the Midtown District. Now, up here on Dowling and Gray, what was here? Wasn't there was a Green's Barbecue? Kind of, because I'm going down Dowling. Was there a lot of black businesses up and down Dowling back in the 40s and 50s, Judge?
Most of the black businesses were in large numbers right in that area. Along with Green Barbecue was the Wooten Pharmacy. There on the corner, two locations from the Diamond Theater.
Okay.
Across.
Okay, we okay. Right now we're at the Dowling Theater, right here close to Wesley Chapel. And okay, and I remember up in here was the Dowling Theater. Then they had a shoe shop, and a barber shop. Old Petty's Barber Shop used to be up here later. But have always been, when you was coming up, Wesley Chapel have always been there on that corner of Webster and Dowling. Is that right, Judge?
That's correct.
Okay, now we're going down Dowling here, and all up and down.
The same block, in the same block of Wesley Chapel on the same side was a great doctor, Dr. Covington, a large 2-story house on the corner of Dowling and Hadley. That should have been a landmark, but I see it's depleted.
Thank you. See, that's why we're doing this. All right, we're live right here on the corner of Darling and Hatley, and right next to Western Chapel is Dr. Benjamin Jesse Covington. And Judge, you say there was a big two-story house, right, with Dr. Covington living in?
Correct.
Okay, now like you saying, they should have kept the house up, but they tore the house down. Only thing they got out here today to show about our black history is Dr. Benjamin Jesse Covington. He was born in 1871 and he died in 1961. And this is a historical, he was one of the famous black doctors we had here in Houston, Judge?
That's correct.
And Judge, was his office up and down Holman like the rest of the black doctors? Was his office down Holman like what the rest of the black doctors was? By the Negro General Hospital?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Judge. Judge Green, what was you saying that was up here, Judge Green, on McElhenney and Dowling?
Another famous black pharmacy called Eureka. Upstairs it housed several doctors. One doctor I can remember was Dr. Fletcher.
Uh-huh. And as we go up here down Darling, and we passing one of the famous pharmacists, and then we coming up here, how far is the Senate Grill, Judge?
Half a block. The next block from McElhenney is where the Senate Grill started.
Oh, and that's where the Senate Grill was, and then that's when this big famous hotel was one of the first black hotels up here. What was the name of that hotel, Judge?
A Jappo.
Oh, great. We're going to stay up here where El Jappo used to be at, Judge, and kind of give us an example of some experience that you know about El Jappo that was right before you get to McGowan and Dowling.
At the A Jappo Hotel was one of the cool places along with Dr. Covington where many of the black entertainers that came to Houston were housed in a safe place. The Jappo Hotel and Dr. Covington's house. Dr. Covington had a large home with plenty of rooms, so some of the stars that came to Houston stayed with them the period of time that they were entertaining here in Houston.
Can you give us
the Jappo Hotel was a larger place where I guess convenient also, and I'm pretty sure it was.
Okay. Now, Judge, you were saying, what was the name of this hotel on this corner, Judge, right before you get to McGowan, right next to the Senate Grill? What was the name of that hotel, Judge?
A Jappo.
Give us some history about that you know about El Jappo. What was happening there at El Jappo? We're talking about in the 40s and the early 50s, right?
Yes.
Okay. What was happening there at this famous spot? Because that's where I'm at. I'm at this famous spot of the El Jappo Hotel. And what was some of the big stars you say that would come to Houston, they would stay there, Judge? Because I know they couldn't stay in the white hotels. They had to stay around in the black communities, if I'm right?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us about the El Jappo and the guy who owned the El Jappo Hotel.
It was owned by a gentleman named Romaine Jappo. I understood at one time, I could be wrong, but they said he went to Wheatley School. He looked like an Ethiopian, but to me, that's what I thought he was. But later on, I found out he was a Houstonian.
And what was the hotel like? You say when a lot of stars come to Houston, they would stay there. And what about you say? Tell us about some of the stars that would come to Houston back during them days.
Some of the stars that I saw there were Ray Charles and Red Fox.
Okay.
Now, Buddy and Ella Johnson also stayed there. I don't know if you ever heard of that group.
Mm-hmm.
Ella James.
Okay.
Ella James.
Okay. How about
Hank Ballard and the Midnighters.
Okay.
I don't guess you even remember that group.
Yeah, I remember Hank Ballard and the Midnighters. Right, I remember them. They were along with the doo-wop the groups during them days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then now when they would come here and stay at this, because this was one of the only black hotels they had in Third Ward, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
Right. And El Japo, and we're right here on the corner. So in other words, El Japo was right next to the Senate Grill. Is that right, Judge?
Correct.
Tell us something about the Senate Grill, because this is a famous spot that we're in, Judge, because you're looking at the El Japo and you look at the Senate Grill, and they like brothers and sisters. They went together. And tell me about the Senate Grill, Judge. What was about it?
When the Senate Grill was first organized, it was a place that stood out because it was all neon looking. All the lighting and everything was in a neon form. Big neons like you would have in New York. And I think that's how that name came about, so to get attention. And it was a beautiful place where big stars came to town. That's where they entertained it. And plus the Houstonians that had the amount of money they wanted to really go out and enjoy themselves, the Senate Grill was it.
All right. But, Judge Green, now tell us something about the Grand Court here on the 2500 block of Darling. What was it like here, Judge? Are you there, Judge, with me?
It was the third center of the Christian organizations like Easter Star and all Masonic Hall orders of the internal organization, the court of you might call the Masons.
Oh, so it was
it was also a center point for all the Christian activities that occurred in the city of Houston. That included some of the major parades of all different Christian organizations. They originated there, and we had all the right-of-ways down Darling in our area. Next, housed in that same building was a large barbershop. Mr. Wise, I can remember Mr. Wise that later on opened his own barbershop down on Southmore. That's where he started, right there at that barbershop.
Okay, this barbershop used to be Mr. Wise barbershop?
Yeah, I'm in here now.
No.
It's mine now.
Yeah, but this is historical. We talking about in the 40s.
Yeah. They all bad.
Yeah. Mr. Wise, I know Mr. Wise. His wife taught over at Blackshear.
I'm blessed to be in this building. You see who got it now, huh?
All right, okay.
You see who got it now?